Are you interested in applying for a study permit in Canada but you're scared that you might get refused? Or are you someone who has been refused and you are lost and you don't know what to do? Then this video is for you. So keep on watching. Hey guys! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Mel and I'm an incoming international student in Canada this coming May 2023. I currently do contents about study permit application and at the same time, since we're still living here in Singapore, I also do random vlogs here and there. So if you're interested to see those type of content, then I hope you consider subscribing. Alright, so let's get on to our topic, which is the common refusal grounds in study permit application. First of all, let me put a disclaimer out here again that I am not an immigration consultant, an immigration lawyer, or connected to any agency. I am not one of those. I'm just a regular person doing contents, and I am these things that I will share with you are based on experience and based on what I have read and researched and all of that. Because if you've seen my previous videos, I will link here below. I will link it above there. I have been refused for 2 times. So I have faced some of this refusal grounds. So I did my research at that time. I was very heartbroken. So yeah. So all this information that I will share with you is based from my own research and understanding and all that. So let's begin with the most common refusal ground, and that is purpose of visit. This ground states in the refusal letter. Okay, so for those who have not applied yet or like just gathering ideas, when you apply for a study permit and you get refused, you will receive a letter and it states there the reasons for refusal. Okay, so this is how it's gonna look like. Okay, some people will receive just one ground of refusal, but some people receive multiple grounds, like can be 2, and the maximum I've seen someone got was 7 refusal grounds. Wait, let me double check. Alright, so this is how it's gonna look like. Again, on the letter, it states the purpose of your visit to Canada is not consistent with a temporary stay given the details you have provided in your application. So let's just focus on the purpose of visit. That's what we normally call as POV. Okay, POV stands for purpose of visit. So in short, the visa officer was not convinced with all your whys. Why are you taking the program? Why are you studying? Why in Canada? And your plans after studies. It's possible that your program is not related to your work experience or your educational background. It's also possible that the program you chose is a downgrade for you. Like, of course, you will state what you're currently doing, what is your position in a company and all that, and you will provide your COE, right? Most of the time, you will provide your COE. So if the visa officer sees that this program does not put you to the next level, it is not really an upgrade, so the visa officer will think that, or will say that this study plan or your purpose of your study is not a reasonable expense for you. Okay, so what do you need to do? First of all, reassess. Is this the right program for you? Does this really show career progression? Will this bring you to the next level after you finish your program? If yes, then defend it on your reapplication when you submit your SOP or statement of purpose. Highlight point by point what are the benefits of this program for you. Most of the time, if your refusal ground is purpose of visit, you need to overhaul your SOP. You need to revise everything, and you need more compelling answers on your whys. Okay, so if your program is something that you think would really give you a career progression, highlight that. Give bullet points. You don't need to use flowery words and all that. You can just state point by point what benefits you will get from this program. You can also highlight what will you learn from this program that you did not learn back in the day. For example, your program that you will be taking is almost the same as a program that you took years ago. So you can highlight what other skills or what other things that you will learn in this program in Canada that you did not learn back in the day when you studied. One more thing is you need to also show the visa officer that you have a lot of career opportunities for you when you come back to the Philippines or when you come back to your home country. So don't forget to include your job prospects. Like I mentioned before, in creating your statement of purpose or your SOP, include active links of job listings that you can see from Google right now. For example, you want to be a business manager after you graduate. So search for business manager position that's currently available and include that link. Show the visa officer there's a lot of opportunities for you when you come back home. If after your assessment and you realize that you chose the wrong program, then go ahead and change to a different program. When you do your statement of purpose, you don't have to defend why you changed your program. You can just draft an SOP or statement of purpose as if you are just applying for the first time. You don't have to address why you had to change your program. It's don't make things complicated anymore, okay? But don't forget to mention in the first part of your SOP that your application was refused previously, okay? This is for those people who have been refused already. So yeah. Alright, so the next most common refusal ground is this: your assets and financial situation are insufficient to support the stated purpose of travel for yourself, and in a bracket, and any accompanying family members if applicable. So in short, this is your proof of funds. The visa officer thinks that your proof of fund is not enough, okay? There are cases that the proof of funds or the money that you have shown to the visa officer are enough, but you were still refused and got this refusal ground, and that is because you probably lack the documentation that they are looking for. So like I mentioned last time from my previous videos, provide as many documents as possible. You need to show 6 months of bank statements. Bank certificate is not actually a requirement. They want to see history, the flow of the money. Okay, I know that a lot of people are doing the bank certificate only because they have a bulk deposit and they don't want to explain where that bulk deposit comes from and all that. But from what I've seen right now, IRCC is getting a bit stricter about the proof of funds, because I've seen someone, a case where she already was approved and then she sent her visa, or she sent her, what do you call that, passport for stamping, and then she got her passport back. There was a stamp, but it was cancelled, and her status in GC key changed from approved to in progress because she received a letter and the visa officer was asking for a copy of bank statement for the past, I think 6 months, or I forgot how many months they were asking. But yeah, so for those people who were able to manage to get approved by just showing bank certificate, I think gone are the days that can be possible, because IRCC is really like getting very strict about the proof of funds. I don't know. And more than the history or the flow of the money, IRCC also wants to know where your money is coming from, right? So if it's from your employment, then submit your payslip, submit your COE with compensation, or your ITR. That's also a good proof. Show the ITR because you can see there the annual income, right? So you can easily explain how you were able to accumulate this amount. And that is because this is my annual income. So you have to provide all the documentation that you can, okay? Okay, so if you have been refused and you got this refusal ground, what can you do? What's the next step? I would suggest you do the GIC route, you know, depositing money from your own bank account going to Canada. So that will show the visa officer that you will indeed have access to those funds. Most of the time, especially those with sponsors, you know, we all know that sometimes your sponsors are just like for the sake of this application, you will say that you have a sponsor, but in reality they're not really sponsoring your studies and all that. So I think IRCC is already aware of that. So one good presentation of your proof of funds is transferring your money from your home country to Canada, and that will prove to the visa officer that your money is in Canada and you have access to those funds. Because GIC again is a guaranteed investment certificate. You will get a certificate from the bank and you cannot withdraw the money all at once or in bulk. You will be given like a schedule on when you can withdraw and how much you can withdraw at a time. So that somehow guarantee the visa officer that you have money in Canada. But this is not 100% foolproof, okay? Because I know of some people, or I've seen cases that they already have a GIC but still got refused, okay? Most probably the question there is the provenance, or where the funds come from. So you really have to strengthen your documentation. Okay, another thing that you can do is pay for your first semester or your first year tuition fee. I've seen people do that, do the GIC and pay for the first year tuition fee. So everything for the first year, it has already been covered, and that somehow gives the visa officer the assurance that your first year of living in Canada is smooth, covered, and you will not be a burden to Canada. Okay, so the third most common refusal ground is your home ties. Okay, this can be presented in two ways. In my case, I don't have any family or relative in Canada, and in my refusal letter it states that you do not have significant ties in your home country. But for those who have family or relatives in Canada and they have weak home ties in their home country, it will state that you have significant ties in Canada. So it all boils down to your home ties. What the visa officer just wants to tell you is that they think that you are not coming back to the Philippines because you don't have any compelling reasons to go back to the Philippines. So whether you have a family or not in Canada, it just all boils down to having weak home ties. If you receive this refusal ground, what can you do? Okay, so remember, you need compelling reasons to go back to your home country. So other people, like myself, I added assets. Okay, I did a deed of donation. If your parents or your auntie or whoever family member have any property that they can do a deed of donation, put the property under your name. That could help. Okay, you can also buy property if you want to, if you have the if you have the budget to do that. Buy a property. You can also add insurances, like what I also did. I added an insurance for myself because previously I didn't have any insurance. And then if you did not declare your government contributions, this applies to the Filipinos watching this video. If you did not declare your Pag-ibig, SSS, PhilHealth in your previous application, declare that. I would, just a tip, okay, for me who is also living outside the country, who do not religiously pay for the SSS or all those government contributions, you actually don't need to show your monthly contribution. Just include a copy of your ID, And if you have online access to the platforms, to SSS, Pag-ibig, PhilHealth, just screenshot the member data member data record showing that you are an active member. And yeah, that's all I added in my application. What else can you add? In my case, I added the St. Peter Life Plan. This is a death care plan for those who are not familiar. So yeah, I bought my own life plan. So this involves buying my own casket and everything. So if I die, I have already prepared for my death. This will somehow show the visa officer, oh, this person wants to die in her home country. She has a life plan or a death care plan already. Oh my goodness. So yeah, compared to my first and second application before, I did not include a lot of photos, but on my third application, I made sure that I included a lot of photos. It was a perfect timing that we also had a vacation in the Philippines, so I was able to take like updated pictures with my family. I took pictures from outside our home so that visa officer can see that, oh, this is where they live, that they're doing okay, they don't look like someone who will like not go back to their home country. So something like that. At least I think they're a bit, you know, judgmental. So if they can see that, oh, this person is doing well, doing good in their home country, I don't think that she will not return to her home country after her studies, or like she will illegally stay in Canada. So yeah, show that proof to the visa office. So show all the proof that you can, that you are established in your home country, that you have all these assets, properties, even if the house is not under your name, it's the house of your parents. Just show it and add it also, that and you can also state that as a child of your parent, you will be one of the beneficiaries of those properties, right? The estate. You can also do letter of inheritance. I did not do that because I was like so awkward to ask my mom for that, but if you can, then do so. Like, you know, show on the letter what properties or what assets you will inherit after their death. So yeah. And the last refusal ground that I commonly see from those Filipinos working abroad and they lodge their application in that country, they would normally get this refusal ground about immigration status. This is very puzzling to me. I also don't understand why, even if you already submitted your visa or your resident visa in that country, you submitted your IDs in that country, that you are legally staying and working in that country, you will still get ticked about the immigration status. So what we Filipinos usually do, we tend to do the PH lodge, or lodge your application in the Philippines. So without going back to the Philippines, right? I know that you are all familiar about that. I, for one, also did PH lodge. Even though I'm living in Singapore, I chose PH or Philippines as my country of residence because I am scared to get, you know, this refusal ground about immigration status. What can you say to address this refusal ground? So you can reiterate on your SOP that you are well aware that your stay in this country, for example UAE, because this is where I normally see people getting this refusal grounds for those Filipinos staying in UAE. So you can state that I am well aware that my stay in United Arab Emirates is only temporary and dependent upon my employment status, and also state that your contract is renewable every X number of years, and I have attached my resident visa or my ID. And you can end it by saying that I plan to retire in my home country to enjoy the fruits of my labor, blah blah blah. So yeah, that's how you will address the immigration status ground in case you have been refused and you don't know what to say, okay? Because I have helped a few people in their SOPs and they have this refusal ground, and this is what I said in their SOP, and they got approved eventually, but they did PH lodge after that. So yeah, I think that's the end of our video. These are the most common for me that I see from the Facebook page, from group chats, from friends, and all that. So I hope this video has helped you. If you have not applied, it's good to know what you need to avoid and what not to do, and what you can do to strengthen those, you know, home ties, strengthen your purpose of study or purpose of visit and all that. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if it has been helpful to you so far, my contents, and I thank you for all those leaving comments in my previous videos, especially my how to lodge your study permit application. I've received a lot of comments that is very helpful. They have not seen any content about the step-by-step application, and I'm happy to hear that. If you have lodged already and you already got approved, I hope you update me in the comment section. So yeah, so if this has been helpful to you, I hope you subscribe, like, and comment, and share this to your friends for those who are interested to apply, or those that you know that have been refused, so it might help them. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Bye.